We'll start with Helene St. James.
Hey, Alex, just you've had a few days now to reflect. How do you feel the season went for you personally?
Um, it's pretty up and down. I don't want to say, it wasn't a bad season by any means. It wasn't great. It was just kind of in between there. I thought there were nights I was feeling really good about my game, and then there was a little stretch there where I was just kind of doing a little too much. I was fighting the puck, and things were just going in from every which way and any which way, and that's a season, and I came into the season with some goals in mind, and hit a few, missed on a few, and mainly just want to be more consistent, and that's the goal for next year and for the summer, is to find a way to be more consistent, and to have something every night and to give us a chance to win every night.
Do you feel like you have a better handle on the mental challenge? It was a longer season than your last year, and just the incredible grind that it is.
Yeah, I definitely. I don't think you really understand the grind, like you said, the mental grind. An 82-game season in the NHL is. I've played a lot of games before. In juniors, I played 50, 60 games in a season. In the American League, I'd played 55, 60, almost 60 games in a season. Went through a long playoff run in the American League and in juniors too. So I've played a lot of hockey before, but nothing like this. Like you can't really compare it. It's we travel nice. We travel with a private plane and all that. We stay at nice hotels, but it definitely takes a lot out of you when you have to play here at 7:30 and then fly to Winnipeg and play the next night in Winnipeg, or fly to Columbus, play Columbus, and then go and get on the plane for 2.5, 3 hours and then play Dallas the next night. And none of those teams have played a game in 2 days, right? So it's a grind. I'm definitely grateful for the opportunity to have played as much as I did this year. I'm going to take a lot from it. I learned a lot from it. And hopefully I can use that, for next year when things kind of start getting tough, to just reflect on a little bit and find a better way to push through it and be more consistent.
Leslie, was there a point where you kind of, came to the realization that you needed to maintain a positive outlook and to not let things weigh you down? Because I think, certainly as a goaltender, you're under much more scrutiny than a skater, but that it just wouldn't serve any purpose to feel down about how things may have been going.
Yeah, I'm always trying to have a positive mindset, a positive attitude towards things. Obviously, it's a lot easier when you're winning. At the beginning of the year, it was obviously we were doing really well, and then at the second half, becomes more difficult, and it's always more difficult when you're not having success to have that positive mindset and that positive outlook. But you have to. At the end of the day, like we're playing a game. We're playing a hockey. It's just a hockey game, and we get to do that for a living, and come to the rink and practice for an hour and work out, and then you go home and you do whatever you want. Play video games, go golfing, spend time with your family. So there were some times this year where it was a little bit more difficult to stay positive, to be positive, just with yourself. And like I said, I went through a rough patch there, and it was tough to find the positives. But they're there somewhere. They're there, whether it's just one thing, that gets you through the day, or if it's maybe 2 or 3 things. Like you got to find something, and there always is something there to get you through it and to push through it. And like I said before, we'll take everything this year with how it happened, and we'll try to learn from it and be better for it next year.
And your dog is always happy to see you, right?
Exactly, he's always happy to see me.
Thanks, Alex.
Yep.
Ted Colfin.
Are you an LCA right now? I feel like I should be asking you about practice or the game or something like that.
Yeah.
Background and everything.
Yeah. No. I've been at the rink the last few days, just trying to stay on the ice and get ready for Worlds, and just try to stay sharp. So.
Well, that was one of the questions actually. What was your decision about going to Worlds, and how excited are you about doing that?
It was a pretty easy decision, honestly. Like, anytime you get to represent your country, it's a great honor. It's a special opportunity. You don't always get to do it at any level, Olympics, World Championships, World Juniors, like whatever it is. Like I think it's a great honor, and I think everybody should take advantage of it if they have the opportunity to do so. I mean, it's in Helsinki this year and over in Finland, and how often do you really get to go overseas and spend time over there? So I'm excited. It's my first World Championships at the men's level, and I think we'll get a little bit more freedom to do things than World Juniors and under 18s and things like that. So it'll be exciting to kind of explore the city and see what it has to offer.
Well, the playoffs, I mean, obviously you've been involved in so many playoffs here recently. Just not being able to get a chance to participate in them this year, I'm sure it's going to be a big goal of your guys' next season then, obviously, right? How disappointing is it not to be involved in a tournament like that, obviously?
Well, I think that was part of, obviously, the decision to go overseas. Firstly is we weren't making playoffs, so to be able to play some meaningful hockey, a little bit more hockey, it's always, you always want to do that. I always want to play meaningful games. But, yeah, obviously missing the playoffs, it's disappointing. There's no other way to put it. It just kind of sucks. Like, the playoffs started Monday, and you're sitting on the couch and everybody's tweeting about it, everybody's talking about it, and it's all over TV, right? You can't miss it. Like it's there, and it's just staring you straight in the face that we're not part of it. And having a taste of it last year was it was incredible. It was everything I thought playoff hockey would be at this level, and it makes for a long summer, and you just have to find ways to use it as motivation. I mean, Lark said it yesterday, like it's been a long time since they've made the playoffs, since they've had success here and in his time, and you don't want it to drag on. You never know. You never know when your last game's going to be. You never know under what circumstances that's going to be in, and you have to take advantage of it. Like we are where we are as an organization and as a team, and that is what it is. But I think as individuals, we, especially as players, like we can't just accept that. Like to me, it doesn't make sense to say we're in a rebuild. We're not going to make playoffs this year. We're not expected to make playoffs next year. So, like, it is what it is, and let's just get through the season. Like, I think that's a terrible outlook. I don't think anybody should have that kind of outlook. And to be honest with you, I think if anybody in that locker room has that kind of outlook, I don't really want to have time for you. Like, I'm here to win a Stanley Cup. My goal is to win a Stanley Cup every year. And on a smaller level, my goal is to win every single night. And if you don't have that same mindset, if you don't have that same goal, then you're not really helping this team out. And I don't think you're really helping yourself out. And it's not what you need. You need guys in that room that want to do it every night. And I think we do have guys in that room that want to do it every night and that want to succeed. And they don't want to waste their career away trying to rebuild and things like that. And, like organization management, they have to do what they have to do, obviously, to help this organization get to that point. But I think as an individual and as a player, you should already have that mindset. And like I said, if you don't, then there's not much time for you.
You must know, I was kind of curious, you must know 90% of that Carolina roster really well. You know those guys, you've gone to war with those guys. Are you going to be watching them, and you going to be pulling for those guys this spring, or what?
Yeah, I've watched a couple of the games so far. I watched their game, and I flipped back and forth between theirs and the Tampa-Toronto game Monday night, and last night flipped through the two early games as well. Like you said, I know pretty much the whole roster really well. To see it grow and to be a part of it for the last 5 years, the previous 5 years, to see where it was when I first turned pro and to where it is now, it's come a long way. And obviously I wish those guys all the success in the world. Have great relationships with a lot of them. Unless it gets to a point where we're playing them for a Stanley Cup or for a playoff spot, then obviously, all bets are off. So.
And last one, really quick. The Pittsburgh situation last night. As a goal, I mean, you know it. I mean, how difficult was it for Dominguez to come in there in that type of situation like that?
Yeah, I went to bed honestly after regulation. Like I couldn't stay up. Like I said, I was coming in here in the mornings, but yeah, I woke up and I saw he was doing an interview after the game, and I kind of found it a little weird that they were interviewing him. Yeah, that's as the backup, as the second guy, that's your job, is to be ready to come in and under any circumstances, whether it's a minute into the game or I think it was sometime in the second overtime he came in. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, like you got to be ready. There's nobody's going to give you an excuse. Like that's your job. Your job is to stop the puck, and whether you're coming in off of a fresh warm up because you were starting, or if you're the backup and you're just kind of hanging out in the neutral zone, like you have to find ways to be ready and be prepared. And obviously he did that, and he got them the win.
So were you guys sneaking in popcorn when you're in Madison Square Garden or San Jose or some of those places where you guys are sitting away from the bench and stuff?
Absolutely not, no.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Max Boltman.
Hey, Alex. Steve kind of described you getting through that stretch there as kind of having survived it. And I was just curious, do you have enough kind of distance on it to see it and say, hey, that happened, but I came back, I had a couple shutouts. Like, how do you kind of look at that stretch and how you came back from it, I guess?
Yeah, like you said, it was a tough stretch. There's obviously, I think, 3 games that stand out most. The first Toronto game at home, or not the 10-7 game, I should say, the Pittsburgh game at home, and then actually the Pittsburgh game on the road, and then Arizona at home. 3 games there, I think, were, as 20 guys, we can look in the mirrors and say, like, that's not good enough, and that's not acceptable. As far as like moving on from it, you have to show up the next day, and just go to work, like, and that's after every game, whether you get routed like that or you route somebody like that. Like you play a perfect game, you have to show up the next day and you have to look at something and say, what can I be better at today? How can I get better today? And obviously there was a lot of things we could be better at after those games, and there was a lot of things that we needed to work on, we could have worked on or should have worked on more, that maybe we didn't do for whatever reason. So there's definitely teaching points in that. They're hard lessons, and you don't think that you need to have those kind of lessons at this level, but that things happen, and like I said, as individuals, we need to look at ourselves and look at those games and figure out, how can I not let that happen again. And for me, it's finding ways to bail us out on nights that we're not ready to play, we're not maybe feeling as good as we can. It's my job to stop the puck. It's my job to keep us in games and help us win games every single night. And I understand that. And if you want to be a great goalie in this league, you have to do that every single night, and you can't allow those kind of games to happen.
And then obviously we all saw the season that Moritz had, but I'm curious, for you, having played behind Slavin and Dougie Hamilton and Pesci and those guys in Carolina, like what went through your mind watching his season play out, having kind of seen some of the best? Does he have that potential in your mind? Yeah,
I think so, for sure. I mean, every night he was in the spotlight, every night he was being talked about, and he showed up every single night and he did something special. And maybe if he didn't score, he was solid defensively. Like, there wasn't a lot of times where we got scored on, and unfortunately we got scored on a lot. He wasn't on the ice for it, or or he was taking away scoring chances, and he was tying guys up, or he was being physical. Obviously he had a very physical presence this year, and he hopefully he keeps getting bigger and stronger, and keeps being that presence on the blue line that we need. And everybody needs a solid number one guy on that blue line, and obviously he showed he was that guy this year, and I think he can be that guy for a long time. And hopefully he just keeps getting better and better. If he can get better next year, like, the season that he had this year, he had 50 points this year as a rookie. Imagine what he can do next year if he comes back and I'm not saying he was in bad shape, but if he just comes back in better shape, right? Like if he gets better, if he gets that much better, how special of a season will next year be? And then if he does it again the following year, or even throughout the year, if he's getting better and better, like it's exciting to see the potential there.
And then I guess we've gotten kind of glimpses of it, but obviously heard a lot about his personality and presence that he brings. Could you give us any kind of peek behind the curtain of what he's like in your setting?
He's just a young guy. Like he turned 21 this year. It's a game to him, and that's great, and that's what it needs to be. And like I said, that we're playing a game, and he looks at it that way, and he loves it. Like he's very vocal in the room. He's vocal on the ice. In practices, he's having a good time, and he's goofing around, and I think everybody gets along with him really well. So he's an easygoing guy, and it's easy to get along with him. And you need that kind of energy. You need it, throughout an 82-game season. You need to have a lot of positivity, and hopefully he can keep bringing that. And like I said, we all learned from some things that went on this year, and we could just be better.
Thanks, Alex.
Yep.
Last question, Ansar Khan.
Yeah, Alex, what needs to happen just as a team to lower that goals against? And is that something that can improve significantly in just 1 year?
I think, I don't want to talk much about systems and other guys, just because it's not my spot, not my position to do that. The systems are run, they're come up with the coaching staff, and that's how it is. And I'll leave it at that. And the D have their jobs and what they do, and they do their video and things like that. So I'll leave it at that. My job's to stop the puck. And obviously we didn't do it. I didn't do it enough this year. I think we were dead last in the league in goals against, and obviously that's not good enough at all. So it will be better. Let's tell you that right now. Like, it's going to be better. We're not going to be in this position next year. I don't care if everything stays the same. Like, if nothing were to change from how this season ended to next year, like, I wasn't going to allow that to happen again, and I'm not going to allow that to happen again. So I hold myself to a certain standard, and I didn't meet that standard this year. And it's just going to be plain and simple. It's not going to happen again. We're not going to be where we are right now in that category.
And next year you'll be working with, I think now your third goalie coach in 3 years. How much of an adjustment is that, just getting used to a new coach?
Yeah, it'll be a little bit of an adjustment. I'm pretty easygoing, honestly. Like, I try to get along with everybody, and I'll give everybody a chance at what they have. To be honest with you, like, goaltending is, I think, everybody has their own way of doing things, but not like, you're not saying like a bunch of different things. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but there's not a wrong way to play. There's not a right way to play necessarily. I think there's better ways to play than others, but just because how I view the game and how I play the game and it works for me, doesn't mean it's going to work for somebody that's bigger than me. Doesn't mean it's going to work for somebody that's shorter than me. Or it might not even work for somebody that's the same size as me, right? Like, you have to find your own way to play the game, and everybody has their own little ways of doing it, and everybody has, as a goalie coach, their own ways of talking about it, teaching it, expressing it, and or whatever, like going through it. So whoever comes in, try to build a relationship with them as quick as we can, and understand, figure out how he ticks, figure out for him, how I tick, what makes me tick, and we'll just try to to grind through it and to find a way to be better than we were this year. And that's always a goal, is to be better than what you were yesterday. So.
Thanks, Alex.
Yep.
All right, those are all the questions we had. Alex, thanks for your time today.
Recording stopped.
And we'll be back